So we've also got the architect and the fellows responsible for the operation of the business. We could go right into that and come back to questions, or you could...
I would ask about fire engine access to the site. Is that a possibility? You've got a lot of vehicles there.
Yeah, no,
So as presumably fuel.
As part of
the fire safety?
As part of the application, we did a fire protection plan that the hydrants out on the street provide adequate flow, and we met with Bob Gregory, and he didn't have any issue with that, but vehicles can come into the site.
Okay.
The one other thing that I just want to say is when we increased the landscaping, the impervious surface, we were able to increase the pervious surface an additional 300 square feet, so we're about 2,400 square feet of additional pervious surface, which doesn't exist right now.
So this will accept part of the runoff on the paved area?
That's right.
And I take it the 9 by 18 spaces allow for that extra foot of grass.
That's correct.
I just have two questions. The area immediately to the west of the building. The area immediately to the west of the building. It's in the fenced area. I think it's in the fenced area. You have cars parked on the side yard property. Is anything happening there? It just doesn't show anything in this.
Yes. So, Stephen, we're the new fencing. We're going to replace the fencing along the railroad tracks, and we're going to return it to this location. We're not closing that area off, which is closed off right now. So we're just running it along this property line.
So what, is anything happening in that area? You're not going to store cars in there?
Yeah, there's just some car storage back over in this area, and we're not opposed if the board wants it to be 2 by 3 versus 3 by 2, but there's nothing really happening there.
And you're not refueling cars on site?
No.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
We are not refueling cars
No,
on site.
we're not.
So I also had two questions. Do you mention the bike rack? Do I see that on the plan?
No, it was a request that was made at SPRAB, and we were directed not to show the revised plans for you so that staff reports were consistent. But I think the bike rack could be on the south side of the building over in here, just something simple. It makes sense to us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then my only other question is about the oil separator for the car wash. So that oil, whatever's being, that's being disposed of some way, I suppose, not into the
It gets
sanitary
cleaned
sewer.
out, it gets pumped out.
A truck comes and pumps it out and removes it from the site.
That's
I see.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
The Van Note Harvey letter to Jack West in August said the Saturday hours were 8 to 6. You said something different.
I thought that the Saturday hours were 8 to noon? 9, yeah.
It fluctuates. It depends on the season. It's no longer than noon on Saturdays. Saturdays is a short day, and then Sunday not open till 6.
So I had one more question. So the 9 by 18 foot parking space, apparently you've asked for this kind of thing before. So could you just talk to us about why we might be the town might require a 9 by 19, but it sounds like a 9 by 18 is somewhat standard maybe somewhere else, or I don't know, maybe you could just talk to that a little bit.
Not sure why they require the 9 by 19. We hope to have that changed as soon as they eliminate the small lot variance.
I have a question about the draw. I'm sorry.
Wait, sorry, Joanne, sorry. So 18 feet you find is significant?
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
variance
is
that's-
sufficient for...
Yes, that's the standard in the RSIS standard. 9 by 18 is the standard everywhere. And like I said, we do hope that someday Princeton will reduce it to 9 by 18.
So Princeton is the anomaly in requiring a 9 by 19?
That's correct.
I see.
And for all the applications that we do in front of either the zoning board or the planning board, that's a routine variance that we ask for.
I have a question about the driveway, and I think you said that that's not part of the variance that you're requesting. But my concern is that the turn into this new establishment would be difficult. With the new Arts and Culture Center, there'll be a lot more traffic, and people who are coming to rent a car are not familiar with Princeton traffic issues, and Alexander is always crowded. I had come up to the site, I took a couple of photos, and I had really no place to stop. I mean, there are barriers there, so I couldn't turn in. But I was thinking when I was having my blinker on that there might be a better way to enter. I don't know, and again, this is not really with the zoning board, this is more with traffic, and I looked at their small report, and they didn't mention anything about traffic controls, but I don't know if there would be a special lane for entering, that this would be going west, and if people are going east, they would have to cross over Alexander and come in. And my thinking is that with the former owner, there was a lot less activity, over the last couple of years with the Sunoco station, and this would be a lot busier. So I'm just wondering, again, if there has been some thinking about this, and again, if this is not part of the variance, I do apologize, but I'm just curious about it.
So the driveway they have proposed is a standard width 24 feet wide. That's standard in the industry for a driveway going into, any commercial site. Any cars that are heading southbound on Alexander, there's a left turn lane that they will use to get into the site. Cars heading northbound, it's a standard turn in. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary with the proposed driveway. By eliminating the one closest to the intersection, it makes everything a little bit safer, because that was too close to the intersection, but the driveway as proposed would work fine.
And on top of that, the signal has a left-hand turn lane segment in it, which will provide gaps so that you'd be able to turn into it if you're heading southbound on Alexander.
Well, the traffic lights will modulate the flow on the road, and my feeling is you'll have no trouble getting in and out of that.
We thought it was a good idea to remove the entrance that is very close to the intersection.
Well, with that, the architect is ready to present the next, I'm sorry.
Yes, you have a question? We have one more.
Yeah, I was just curious about two things. So the PEC made a bunch of recommendations. Can you hear me or you can't? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the PEC made a bunch of recommendations, and the ones that I was just concerned about are waste. They have asked for the kitchenette to have some disposal for organic waste. We can't require that. It's not mandatory, unfortunately, in the town of Princeton. But with respect to recycling, this is a commercial facility, and so you're obligated to provide recycling.
Mr. Frisbee will explain that the reason that they can get by with so few parking spaces here is that they have a central facility nearby where the folks go over and get cars and bring them back. So they're going over and back to the home base all the time. And he'll testify that they don't have any trash other than office trash, and they propose to put it in bags and take it in the car over to the main facility and put it in a dumpster there, avoiding having to have a dumpster here. So he'll testify to that.
Well, what about people that come to return the car and have cans or bottles in the car and want to dispose of them?
Yeah.
And there would be no recycling bin on site. I mean, you're going to collect those. And
recycling containers of the site, like you have in your office, a box that says recyclables, and they'll take that over to the other facility as well. The alternative would be to have dumpsters here and trucks coming in, and it's just not appropriate for a site of this size.
So you're going to have in the main building, you're going to have visible recycling bins there for customers that are coming into the facility, and on a regular basis, you're going to empty those and bring them yourself with employees to the other facility so they can be collected.
Mr. Frisbee will testify, but that's my understanding of what he's going to tell you.
Okay, and the other facility has a contract with a recycling entity that's going to pick up that recycling?
He'll testify.
Okay. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, right.